Right, glad you could join us on this drive this morning. Nice fall day to take a drive. We're going to start right here at the Eau Claire Supercharger. So the route today will take us through a series of roundabouts. I wanted to retest those with the new update, and then I wanted to take us into the downtown Eau Claire area, ending our drive at Pablo Park. So right off the bat, the car is doing a great job navigating. Made a left turn and then another left turn at the stoplight. Perfect with all the traffic that's going on around us, so I didn't see any issues with how the car started out the drive. Let's hope that continues. Now the next section of this drive is one that I've had a little bit of difficulty on in previous drives, primarily because of the lane differences going through it. So right on this section of the road, right here, we've got double yellow marks on the left and a bike lane on the right. And the car does a very nice job detecting those. And you can see on the screen, we see all the other traffic and speed limit sign, other objects depicted very well on the screen. So we've got the speed set at 32 miles an hour, which is good for flow of traffic. Unless you're this car right behind me, then you're not thinking I'm going flow of traffic. So this will be the first trouble spot that I've noticed. We've got a little bit of a lane divergent to the right with the turn lane, left turn lane right here. And the car does a nice job getting through that, so no difficulties there. The next area will be up at this stoplight where we have two left turn lanes and two lanes to proceed directly on the route. So right here we're going to see how it does. It gets into the side that's marked for left turn, but we do want to be in the next lane to our right to continue straight on the route. So I see the car has detected that, though I wish it would have done that a little sooner because now we've got some traffic difficulty. Just going to let it go here, see what happens. We'll nudge on the accelerator to get it to go into its lane. So you can see with the other cars around, it was really struggling with that, getting into the correct lane to follow the route. It did detect that it was in the incorrect lane. However, I detected it a little late, and by the time we were ready to move over, there was other traffic in the way that it had to move around. So I did let that go on full self-driving, but I did have to tap the accelerator, so we'll call that one intervention. Here we are at the stoplight, just waiting for it to change. I feel the slowdown at slower speed limits, like 30 miles an hour or less, is definitely very good, very smooth. Didn't see any issues with that. On faster speed zones, like 45 and higher, the car does tend to wait a little bit too long to begin its deceleration. And then it stops rather suddenly, so that if I don't have things in the back seat secured, they typically will end up on the floor of the car, and luggage or baggage in the car shifts around quite a bit. So car's looking good on this part of the drive. Again, we do see really nice visualization. Coming up here, we're going to have the first roundabout intersection. And the alert that you saw on the screen was something that happens if you look away from the road too much. There's a camera in the car just above the rear view mirror that is watching my eyes and making sure that I'm paying attention to the road. If I take my attention away for too long, I believe it's 6 or 7 seconds or more, then it will give me that alert message. So nice approach to the roundabout. I feel that it slowed down very appropriately. We do have a car in the left, and they're exiting the roundabout. They were a distance away, so no issue for us. Acceleration through that roundabout felt a little iffy. It was maybe just a little bit hesitant or jerky, and then it committed to it. It definitely felt that shift or change through the roundabout intersection, but it did pick a nice line through there, and it navigated it very appropriately. So one thing I've noticed with the car that it does not detect yet is that there are sometimes speed zone changes for going around corners. Like that corner back there was a 25 mile an hour speed zone change. There's a sign that marked that, but I didn't see a change here on the screen. It kept 30 miles an hour as a set speed here on the screen. And again, we have another 25 mile an hour corner, and we'll see what the car does. No change. So definitely not an issue in terms of ride comfort, but picking up speed limit sign changes, like you see here, it'll change to 35 for that sign. It doesn't detect the corner signs very well. So next thing we've got on our route is a stop sign coming up here. And I just set a new waypoint for the post office, which is right next to the Pablo Center downtown. We're going to have it navigate us there. This will take us through another series of 3 roundabout intersections. So we have a car in the intersection before us. He was a little hesitant, thinking that it was our turn, but he went, and now we're going. So very nice job with the car in that intersection, waiting its turn and then committing to the turn once it started it. Didn't see any need to creep forward looking for traffic or visibility. It could clearly see that it was safe to make the turn, and then it proceeded to do so. So coming up ahead, you see on the screen a series of 3 roundabouts that we'll be going through. And the first one is up here in just about a quarter mile. Now I'm shooting this video on Saturday morning, so there's not a lot of traffic out, but there is a fair amount of traffic, enough that it needs to detect whether it's safe to proceed into the roundabout and then through the roundabout. So let's see if we can capture any scenarios up here with traffic issues in the roundabout. Otherwise, I wouldn't expect any issues with these type of intersections. So nice entry, nice flow into it, and nice transition through the intersection. So that makes 2 successful roundabout intersections. We've got 2 more intersections coming up here. And again, nice slowdown. Previous versions of FSD beta would completely stop at the yield sign, even with no traffic present. So I'm very impressed with how the car does automatically get into the intersection without prompting, and doesn't take a lot of time to assess. And this is a little more complex type of intersection because we do have 2 lanes transitioning through the intersection. So one thing I noticed with this update, and it may have occurred in previous updates, is puts a left turn signal on for roundabout intersections. I'm not sure why that is if we're proceeding straight through. A little bit of hesitancy there. And then the car proceeds. So that was good. Really good job with that, especially since there was a merge for traffic back there that was turning right. to go from 2 lanes through the intersection into 1 lane that we're in currently. And we didn't see any issue with that truck behind us in the merge. And again, some complex lane situations up here. We're going to be proceeding straight on the route, so we want the car to be in the right side, and it transitions to that lane very smoothly. And we want the car to stay in this lane through the next couple of intersections because the lane to our left is a turn lane. Slowing down just a little bit here for that car that's turning in front of us. And we've got a green light, but a car turning at this intersection, so again, another slowdown. I feel like the slowdown was just a little bit prolonged going through that intersection. It could have started the acceleration just a little bit sooner, but otherwise everything through there went very smoothly. Again, another 20 mile per hour corner speed limit, and we are staying at 30 miles an hour. Car did overshoot that right turn just a little bit. It drifted into the middle of the road, the left turn lane back there. And here it does transition into the turn lane appropriately, but I didn't see a lane change signal on the screen. I feel like on the issues that I'm reporting now, I'm getting pickier and pickier with things, and you don't see me report a lot of issues on camera, but when I'm driving with full self-driving off camera, I'm very consistent in reporting. The issues that I was reporting before were clearly safety issues where I felt I had to take over or something bad was going to happen. There's going to be a bad outcome if I let the car proceed. Currently, it's more minor things like navigation issues with the car, or things that I would do differently as a driver. So we do have a little bit of a construction area coming up here. I like how the car got into the right lane, right behind this car in front of us. So that's actually very smooth. It's exactly how I would have made that transition as a driver. And we are at this stoplight. Now, if you're a fan of indie music, there's a local group that's known nationally, worldwide actually, called Bon Iver, Justin Vernon, and the mural that you see painted on the building to our left is the album art cover from one of his previous albums that was released. So a little bit of a local Eau Claire, Wisconsin story there for you. At this point, we want to be in the left turn lane. And the car did transition behind this vehicle very nicely. So I feel like it's seeing the other traffic, picking the correct spacing to make the lane changes, and getting into the proper lane for navigation well in advance. And we're going to make a left-hand turn here to proceed to our destination. That's very nice. The car did wade through the intersection to make the turn, and it slowed down for that car that was parking. And the reason I say it was nice is because the lanes back there included a turn lane, which is not very well marked, but there was a double yellow line that was further into the intersection or further past the intersection than what normally would have been. So the car did proceed through the intersection far enough to make the turn without causing an issue. We made that four-way stop back there very nicely. We've got our right turn here. and then this is our destination. So my thoughts on the drive. I thought that the car started out very strongly. It made it through some sections of the early part of the route that I've struggled with in previous versions of full self-driving. However, when it got to the first stoplight intersection, where it needed to proceed straight on the route, it took too long to get into the correct lane for navigation. So I did let the car go through that transition, but it really struggled with it, whereas if it would have made the lane change prior to that, it could have been a smooth transition through that intersection. The roundabout intersections didn't have any issues, but I didn't see a lot of traffic with them, and so I plan to retest that. And arriving into the downtown area, I didn't see any issues at all, especially through the construction zone where the car has historically struggled. That's all I have for the video this week. I just wanted to thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.